San Antonio Soccer Examiner Chris Hockman here with the wrap-up of MLS Week 8. First up, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to my mother especially, even though she's probably not going to watch this. Happy Mother's Day, Mum. And yeah, let's get right into it. I'm sorry it's not going to be a great production this week. Busy week for me. And this is really the only time I've got to do this, so I'm just going to get into it, run through it. Next week I have Monday off, so it'll be better. Alright, let's get things started. Houston versus Colorado, and it was a result that ended the runs of both clubs. Houston had their undefeated streak snapped, while Colorado get their first win in 4, so really 5. It was an uneventful first half before the match really opened up in the second. Particularly later on, all the scoring happened in the final 20. Houston opened the scoring with the former Rapids man doing well after a good pass from Watson, but only 3 minutes later Colorado got the equaliser with Tally Hall misjudging the cross for the free kick, which ended up in the back of the net, and Pauguta ended up the hero. Houston unable to deal with the throw-in, the ball falling to Pauguta, who slotted home a late winner for the visitors. Colorado 2, Houston 1. And then it was over to Gerald Wedenfield, which is fast becoming a fortress as Portland recorded their 4th straight win at home. And it was a quite a contrast of styles, this one. Portland playing this fast-moving, attacking game, while Philadelphia sitting back, absorbing the pressure, playing this defensive style. And in the end it was attractive attacking football that won the day. A beautiful header from Dunzo winning the game. For Portland, it was a header between the goalkeeper and the post for a 1-0 victory. And Philadelphia maybe showing us the way teams are going to defend now in Portland. It's a tough place to go. And Real Salt Lake, of course, back on track after last week's shock loss. The big story in this one, of course, is the loss of Javier Morales after Mondani's challenge broke his ankle. Mondani was, of course, given a red card in the wake of the MLS talking about cramping down on reckless challenges. It's probably the worst possible timing to have something like that happen. We saw a big suspension already, so we'll see what happens on this one. Yeah, but Chivas were already in trouble at that point. They were already down to 10 at that point, with Boyens being shown his second yellow in just the 28th minute. So Real played with a 2-man advantage for over half the match, and yeah, probably should have done better than that, but maybe they were shocked by the broken ankle. Chivas must get better discipline. Yeah, it was to be fair, there were only 3 cards in the whole match, but there were only 2 players carded. One of them was straight red and the other were 2 yellows. So Chivas have to get better discipline, but to have so many cards, to have 2 players sent off in the first half, that's a big deal. That's an issue. And but a win for Real gets them back on track. Okay, up to Canada now, and Houston may have just started sliding. 2 unexpected losses for the Dynamo against 2 teams who were really struggling, and this one was the second time this week that they lost. They lost to Toronto, who got their first win in over a month. Toronto started the match well, Houston allowing the Reds space, but they couldn't score until the second half. Nick Sussman drawing a penalty, which was converted by Platter in the 50th minute, before Platter almost drew a second one in the 60th minute, and then he had the call reversed by an offside flag, which, by the way, is the correct call. If the player's offside, they can't be fouled. You can sanction the player, you can yellow card, red card, but you can't call a penalty. So if the offside flag goes up, you've got to go with the offside, because the offside comes first. The decision, though, seemed to spark Toronto. They scored their second in the 81st minute, with Plata sending a rampaging Santos through for the winner. Lovell Palmer put the Toronto crowd on edge with his goal late on in the 88th minute, but it was only a consolation for the Dynamo as they slumped to their 2nd straight loss. And then FC Dallas headed to the nation's capital, confident of a 3rd straight win, but it wasn't to be. It was a tough and physical match, and it ended scoreless. It was an exciting finish, as DC United probably should have stolen it. Fred was wide open, only to be denied by a great save from Hockman. And perhaps DC were the better side. They had the clearer chances, but neither side was able to convert what few chances came their way, so the match ended scoreless. Columbus Crew managed to stretch their unbeaten run to 7 games, 3 wins and 4 draws, with a 1-1 draw with the Sounders, and again they left it late to salvage a point, and again it was from the spot. It was Seattle who took the early initiative, however. In a topsy-turvy match, they scored in the 7th minute from a Monteiro header after a beautiful cross from Freiburg. Keller was crucial for the Sounders, keeping out a number of chances, but he was unable to stop Renteria's spot kick after Chad Marshall had pulled down was pulled down on a corner by Ianni, salvaging a draw for the Columbus Crew. New England perhaps should have done better on their match against Colorado. Colorado were racked with injuries, but it was another scoreless draw. New England had the better chances, hitting the post twice, first with Ryan Cochran on a 15th minute header before Failhaber's glancing header hit the crossbar with 15 minutes left. Colorado managed to hold on and salvage a point. And then another scoreless draw as Chicago hosted Vancouver. It was all Chicago in this one, dominating possession, having a number of golden opportunities. But in the end, Chicago certainly paid the price for wasteful finishing. But in the end, they may have actually been lucky. Vancouver also wasted a golden opportunity in stoppage time. Both teams were desperate for a win, but they're going to have to keep waiting as it ended a 0-0 draw. And then finally, the match of the week was clearly in Los Angeles as the Galaxy took on the Red Bulls. And it was a sellout, and it was star versus star as Henry and Beckham went head-to-head, with Landon Donovan also playing a crucial role. It was an exciting tight match with lots of skill on display, as we saw by, if you haven't seen it, Henry's juggle up the sideline. Incredible work. Go see it. It's on MLSnet.com. And, and it was Henry who got things started, with Dane Richards sending a ball in for Henry, sneaking his shot in the back of the net. As his fine runner scoring form continues, it's 4 from 4 now, after he was much maligned early in the season for his poor scoring run. Angel looked to have equalised in the 26th minute, only to be denied by the offside flag. The breakthrough did, however, come for LA, and again it was Beckham providing the assist as an unmarked Landon Donovan headed in David Beckham's corner. It was a wonderful match and a great advertisement for the league, ending in a 1-1 draw and setting the stage for a fantastic rematch later in the season. Thank you very much for tuning in. I apologise that this one isn't that great. It's just tight time, and I apologise for my sniffling. Feeling a little stuffy, so thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to visit examiner.com, the internet source for the local. Thank you.